The Pope has died, and the Palestinian people have lost an important advocate. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. Pope Francis has died after using his Easter Sunday address to call for peace in Gaza. I don't know who the cardinals will pick to replace him, but I do know with absolute certainty that there are some major transnational intelligence operations in the works to make sure they select a more reliable supporter of Israel. They've probably been working on it since his health started failing. Anyone who's been reading me for a while knows my attitude toward Roman Catholicism can be described as openly hostile because of my family history with the Church's sexual abuses under Cardinal Pell. But as far as popes go, this one was decent. Francis has been an influential critic of Israel's mass atrocities in Gaza, calling for investigation of genocide allegations and denouncing the bombing of hospitals and the murder of humanitarian workers and civilians. He'd been personally calling the only Catholic parish in Gaza by phone every night during the Israeli onslaught, even as his health deteriorated. In other words, he was a PR problem for Israel. I hope another compassionate human being is announced as the next leader of the church, but there are definitely forces pushing for a different outcome right now. There is no shortage of terrible men who could be chosen for the position. Benjamin Netanyahu's spokesman, Omer Dostri, told Israel's Channel 12 News on Saturday that a deal with Hamas to release all hostages was a non-starter for the Israeli government because it would require a commitment to lasting peace. At the moment, there can't be one deal since Hamas isn't saying, "Come get your hostages and that's that." They're demanding an end to the war, Dostri said in the interview. This comes as Hamas offers to return all hostages, stop digging tunnels, and put away its weapons in exchange for a permanent ceasefire. This is what Israel is dismissing as unacceptable. The Gaza Holocaust was never about freeing the hostages. This has been clear ever since Israel began aggressively bombing the place where the hostages are living, and it's gotten clearer and clearer ever since. Last month, Netanyahu made it clear that Israel intends to carry out Trump's ethnic cleansing plans for the enclave, even if Hamas fully surrenders. When Washington's podium people say the quote-unquote war in Gaza can end if Hamas releases the hostages and lays down their arms, they are lying. They are lying to ensure the genocide continues. When Israel apologists say, "Release the hostages," in response to criticisms of Israeli atrocities, they are lying. They know this has never had anything to do with hostages. They are lying to help Israel commit more atrocities. It was never about the hostages. It was never about Hamas. What it's really about was obvious from day one: purging Palestinians from Palestinian land. That's all this has ever been. After executing 15 medical workers in Gaza and getting caught lying about it, the IDF has investigated itself and attributed the massacre to professional failures and operational misunderstandings, finding no evidence of any violation of its code of ethics. It's crazy to think about how much investigative journalism went into exposing this atrocity, only to have Israel go, "Yeah, it turns out we did an oopsie. No further action required. Thank you to our allies for the latest shipment of bombs." The death toll from Trump's terrorist attack on a Yemen fuel port is now up to 80, with 150 wounded. Again, the U.S. has not even tried to claim this was a military target. They said they targeted this critical civilian infrastructure to hurt the economic interests of the Houthis. Those who are truly anti-war don't support Trump. Those who support Trump aren't truly anti-war. I still get people telling me I need to be nicer to Trump supporters because they're potential allies in resisting war, which to me is just so silly. What are they even talking about? Trump supporters, per definition, currently support the one person who is most singularly responsible for the horrific acts of war we are seeing in the Middle East right now. Telling me they're my allies is exactly as absurd as telling me Biden supporters were my allies last year would have been, except nobody was ever dumb enough to try to make that argument. If you still support Trump in April 2025 after seeing all his monstrous behavior in Gaza and Yemen, then we are on completely opposite sides. You might think you're on the same side as me because you oppose war in theory, but when the rubber meets the road, it turns out you'll go along with any act of mass military slaughter, no matter how evil, so long as they are done by a Republican. We are not allies, we are enemies. You side with the most egregious warmonger in the world right now, and I want your side to fail. People say, it's the Muslims or it's the Jews. No, it's the Americans. The U.S. centralized empire is responsible for most of our world's problems. It says so much about the strength of the imperial propaganda machine that this isn't more obvious to more people.